Hey, it's good to see you. Tonight, I wanted to go over a little goal setting framework I learned recently that I've really enjoyed and found very useful. So we will just hop right into it. I am calling this How to Like Yourself and Get Things Done. Because it's a lot more than just goal setting. It's also it's about achieving goals in a way that is sustainable and that feels good instead of just, strong arming yourself into doing things better, whatever better is. But right, all you need to like yourself and get things done is trust your decisions, which is really just about be on your own team. So you're like, okay, that sounds all well and good, but what the heck? How do I do that? I'm gonna show you. You only need 1, 2, 3 things to do it. But first, I just want to outline a few possible pitfalls, like what might be getting in your way, right? So possible pitfalls. Maybe you are scared of what will happen if you do something new, if you make that big decision finally. Maybe you are basing current decisions on past patterns, which is not really helpful because you don't have to repeat those. Maybe you don't know your direction, your ideal direction. You don't know what you want to value or what you want to privilege above the rest. So there can be more, but we'll just say those for now. These things, these possible pitfalls, are all fear-based. And when you make decisions from a place of fear, the primary motivation is safety. So that's okay. You do that because your body, your mind, your heart, it's trying to protect you, right? It's not the worst thing in the world, but it might not make you happy. Whereas if you make your decisions from a place of trust, your primary motivation can be growth and or fulfillment. Now, fear will still be there. Fear will always be there. It's natural because our body, our minds, our hearts, they're just trying to protect us, right? But we try to make it so that fear is no longer a problem. We move forward with fear. And this trust that I'm talking about is self-trust, and because it's self-trust, it's also self-generated. So I'm going to get into the 3 things you need to make decisions from a place of trust. But first, I'm going to just say you can only trust decisions made intentionally right? Not from a place of fear, but from a balanced state with intention. But you can only be intentional if you know what you want. Know what you want, right? You can only know what you want by doing scary things or experimenting, and you can only do scary things in a productive, healthy way if fear is not a problem. It's not a problem. So fear is still going to be along for the ride, but it is not a problem because we recognize that it is something we do to protect ourselves, to save ourselves trouble. And so we can see fear, acknowledge it, investigate it to find out what we're really afraid of, but it's never a problem. Okay, so now for the 3 things you need. The first one is a vision. And a vision is who you're becoming on purpose. Because we want to do this all with intention. So this is a future-based self-concept. So how you're viewing yourself, which is something you create, and it's forward-looking. Another way to think of this is, what do you want to be true about who you are 6 months from now? And I say 6 months because it's far enough in the future that we can make real change, but it's not so far that it feels, decades away, years and years away. It's close enough that you can conceive of actually having made a change. Also, we're going to use positive phrasing. So instead of saying like, I don't blah blah blah, you want to remove the negations and make it positive. So for example, you could say, like, if you've been really unfulfilled at work lately, or feeling unbalanced, like you have too much to do and you don't enjoy it anymore, you could say something like, I live and work with a glad and determined heart. Not shying away from the effort, but also trying to do things from a place of joy. Okay, so that is your vision. Or say you wanted to get fit. It's not like, I will stop eating potato chips. It's more like, like, I will move my body every day with joy, or something like that. Future-based self-concept. What do you want to be true about who you are 6 months from now? Positive phrasing. So next, thing you need are goals, which we're going to outline, like what the best way to do that is. Goals. So this is deciding what deserves your resources. Goals, the amount of goals you can take on at once at any given time is finite because resources go into achieving them, time, energy, things like that. So we're going to phrase these looking for specific results or intentions. So maybe it's like, I want to run 5 miles, or it's like, I want to exercise with joy. The first would be a result, and the second would be more of an intention-based goal. At one time, it's best just to focus on 3 to 5 maximum. And it's really important to know and like your reasons. So, say it's the running one, it's not to impress your ex, it's because you feel better when you do those things. Or say this one, it's not because then other people will think that I'm cool or something, it's more because I will feel better. It doesn't matter what your reason is as long as you know it and you like it, right? That it makes you feel buoyant. Okay, so like this one, I live and work with a glad and determined heart. The goals could be something like doing creative things in the morning. So creative mornings. Me, for example, I am most creative in the morning, and I find it hard to be creative after the sun goes down, so that's important, right? Daily motion, we could say, like just moving in some way. It could be going for a run or doing yoga, or it could be just going for a walk with the dog. And we'll say daily meditation. I'm running out of room there, so I'll just abbreviate it, but it is for meditation, not medication, although that can be great too. These are things that I've noticed make me feel balanced and help me live and work with, a joyful heart. So living in terms of how I experience my day-to-day tasks, how I interact with my friends, my family, my loved ones. I'm always better if I'm exercising regularly, meditating regularly, and setting time aside for creativity in a way that feels good, which for me is in the morning because it can be frustrating at other times of the day, for example. And that also benefits my work. So let's see, let's do yellow here. We'll do pink bullet points again. And we'll do purple little goals. The lines are a little wonky in places because there is a bend in the paper there. And I've also made the ink run here, so we're just gonna make these into little flowers, because why not? Cool. And there's one more thing I want to say about goals, which I'll just put over here as an aside. If you're struggling to think of good goals, achievable goals, goals that you're excited about, a common acronym to use is SMART. So you want them to be specific, right? Specific and measurable. Also, you want them to be attainable. And you want them to be relevant. I've had some wine, you guys. and also time bound. So, for example, I want to be more flexible or something, right? So it could be next month, for example, next month I will go to yoga class once a week. Probably even better is this month, but we'll just say specific. So like, how am I going to get flexible, or how am I looking for that exercise? It's yoga class. I probably have a place in mind. I know where I can go, right? Measurable, once a week. So 4 times a month, 5 times a month. Attainable, once a week. It's not like I'll go to yoga class every day when I have been meaning to for 5 years and haven't gone once. You want to start small and build on that. Relevant, if I want to be more flexible, yoga class is relevant. Or do I like yoga? Do I feel better doing yoga? That could be whether it's relevant or not as well. And then time bound, it's next month or this month. So it's a certain amount of time. We know when it starts, we know when it ends, and that just makes your goals that much better in terms of how you feel about them and your likelihood of achieving them. So then our third thing that we need, it's values. This is my favorite part. I'm just gonna identify some core values. So this is like how to align yourself, or it's like a compass. So I'm just gonna color in these little flowers to make them even cuter. Yeah. Cool. All right. So values can change over time. They're both seasonal, depending on your vision and your goals, and they are personal. You need to feel excited about them, or they won't help you make decisions in the way you want. So this is basically, another way to think about it is what you want to root into or align yourself with. Unlike goals, there are 0 resources required. These things don't take time, they don't take energy, they're just values. So I'll give you some examples in a second. And you want to choose just 5 maximum. They can change later on depending on what you're trying to do, but it's best just to do 5. So right now, with this vision and these goals to reach this vision, the values I selected to reach these goals, to reach this vision, are creativity, connection, authenticity, and also balance. I got pretty burnt out in the middle to end of last year, and I don't want that to happen again. So I think these values will help. Striking a balance, taking my time on things, making sure to have a variety of activity, I think is really important for me in general, but also for these goals and this vision. Authenticity too, not doing things I don't want to do, speaking clearly on that, representing myself and what I really think is really key for me as well. Connection, just seeking meaningful connection, letting go of connection that was filled with drama or just wasn't productive. And not necessarily burning bridges, but just focusing on the meaningful side of connection. And creativity again, so I can have creative mornings, so I can live and work with a glad and determined heart, just feeling more full as a person. But you might remember that I had very different values, core values, not so long ago, for a different phase or season of my life. And those were loyalty, independence, privacy. I had play as one of, I'll make these green, as one of my values at one point. So some of them might stick with you. Like creativity has always been one. Curiosity is one that often comes up for me. Trying to think of others to give you an example. If you want a video on identifying your core values, period, or in a more general way, or for specific goals and visions, just let me know and we can go over a list of them to help you get some ideas. So the thing about all of this is that these are all shortcuts to making decisions that you like, that you trust, making decisions that you trust. It's key. You can remove all the self-doubt, and that's because you trust yourself and you're on your own team. So even if I'm very confused one day, I feel overwhelmed, I'm not sure how to make an important decision, I can look at any one of these three. Hopefully they're all working in concert, but for example, I can say, okay, I don't know what to do about this one thing. All right, what's the decision to make there that leads me closest to this vision? Or what's the decision I can make that protects this goal, or this goal? Or what's the decision to make that aligns with my core values of the moment? How can I make this decision in a way that values creativity, that values connection, that values authenticity, or that values balance? So you can also just isolate these and use them as ways to make decisions when you're feeling confused, because you've already put thought into it, and therefore you'll be able to make the decision with more intention than you would otherwise. And the last thing I want to say is about fear, which is that fear will come up, as I said before. When it does, kind of what I think in response to my fear is basically okay, I hear you. That's a totally valid fear. That's myself trying to protect myself. Maybe I'm afraid of hurting someone's feelings. Maybe I'm afraid of taking a risk and failing. Maybe I'm afraid of wasting my time, of change in general. Could be any number of things. So I say, okay, I hear you. And then I say to myself, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of? So say I'm afraid of, okay, maybe we go off this yoga class example. We could say, okay, I'm scared to go to yoga class. Maybe I'm scared of that I'll go and I won't already be flexible. Well, of course, you won't already be as flexible as you're going to be after you go. That's the whole point, is to change. You say, what am I afraid of? And you're like, I'm afraid that people will, if not laugh at me, look down on me in yoga class, okay? And so then you ask again, what am I afraid of? And you keep asking it, and you keep saying, what then? What then? To reveal the deeper fear. So I'm afraid of going to yoga class because people might think I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, what happens if they think you don't know what you're doing? Maybe they'll literally laugh at you. Okay, what happens if they laugh at you? nothing happens. Maybe you'll feel a little embarrassed. Okay, what happens if you feel embarrassed? You've probably felt embarrassed before, and it was probably totally fine. So that's not to dismiss the fear, but it is a way to just kind of unpack what's going on there. And once you realize, okay, I'm afraid of going to yoga class because I'm afraid of feeling embarrassed, you say, okay, that's okay. And then you move forward knowing that, you're afraid you might feel a little embarrassed. So what? It doesn't matter. So I hope you found something in this video useful. I found it useful this year so far, and I hope you do too. Let me know if you'd like a core values video or any other videos like this, and I can put them together for you. I hope you're doing super well, and if you're not, that is okay too. I'll see you very soon. Good night. Good night.